What's good, YouTube? You dig? Alright, man, Golden Device here. And today we're going to be talking about how to never be angry. Or how to never get angry. I don't know what the caption going to be, or the thumbnail, or the title. I kind of just make this stuff up as I go. But today's topic is very important. I'm going to make it as simple as I can and as easy as I can to understand. I think today's topic is so important because as humans, we have emotions, whether it be anger, sadness, whatever the case may be. And there's nothing wrong with the emotions. It's just that the problem is I singled out anger because typically when people are angry, they do things that they regret. Or they do things that they're not proud of doing, or things that they didn't want to do, but they were angry, so they did it, which is understandable. But what I'm going to be talking about today is how do you control that anger? How do you get it to the point where you never become angry again, or you never allow yourself to be moved by your anger? And that's what today's video is about. Let's get right into it. The first thing I want to say when I say like how to never be angry again, it comes down to giving yourself like morals or like principles per se. One thing to never be angry, but it's another thing to be angry and to be able to control yourself while you're angry. I think that's more accurate than me saying never be angry again, because there are times when I'm angry, yes, but one, I never let it get to that point anymore, and two, I have so many defined morals and principles that when my anger clashes with my morals always win. For example, say one of my parents makes me mad, or we're having an argument, or whatever the case may be. I have a moral that I don't want to disrespect my parents. So that moral always overpowers that anger. Because as soon as I'm about to react with that anger, as soon as I'm about to react on that feeling, boom, that triggers. I will much rather never disrespect my parents and stay true to my word rather than allow my anger to control me right now. That's the thought that combats that anger. And you want to think of as many triggers like this that you can, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to encounter something that will make you angry. But at the same time, there's a time and a place for everything. And the last thing you want to do is not be able to control yourself. And that's another important, why this lesson is important, because like I said, you want to minimize circumstances where you're not in control, circumstances where you're not on your A game, where you're not your best self. And one of the things that can prevent you from being your best self is your emotions. And in the moment, it can be very hard to realize how your emotions are controlling you. But right now, I'm telling you to lock in, to think back to every time you've done something where you didn't want to do it, but it was out of emotion. And we all have those examples. Like I said, when I was like younger, or not even that younger, like probably like not even that long ago, probably like a year or two ago. But like when I'm like arguing with my parents and stuff, it's like I tend to have a smart mouth. But that's just me in general. That's just me in life. But at the same time, I can't be disrespectful to everyone. And I never liked that. Like I always felt that guilt to me. And second of all, when you're angry and stuff, you tend to say things to people that, not to say you don't mean it, but you never wanted to make that person feel like that. And anger can make us do that. We can say things and do things that will make another person feel a way that we never wanted them to feel. But in the moment of being angry, we think we want them to feel that pain. We think we want them to feel that way. But this is where you need to know who you are to truly understand how your morals and principles can check your anger. And my second word of advice would be learn how to think through your anger. What I mean by that is, one of the main ways I stop myself from getting angry in the first place is I see it coming. I can smell it coming. Like there's never been something in life where it's like, I mean, there are times in your life where, say, something happens so spontaneously that it just makes you angry. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you're walking outside and you see some guy slap his girl, or you see something that catches you off guard and it automatically triggers your anger. But 9 times out of 10, when anger or some type of emotion like that comes to you, you can see it coming. Like, for example, say you're playing basketball, you're outside. Someone has like a lot of attitude to them, like they're being hype, they're being extra like Joe or something, and you could just already feel like you don't like this person. And not just necessarily say you don't like them, because you can't dislike somebody you don't know. But you just know that something they might do will trigger you or irritate you, or someone's being annoying to you. You can see these things coming before the actual anger or the emotion triggers. So one of the things you can do is think yourself through it. All right, this person is clearly going to get on my nerves. Do I want to be around this person? No, I do not. All right, this person, or even another example could be like if your parents are talking to something you don't want to talk about, or if someone's like it typically is the annoying feeling. I'm trying to bring up different examples, but it's typically the one that's most obvious. It's like one of the things you can really do is give yourself that second voice on your shoulder. That's basically what I mean when I say think through your anger. Give yourself that second voice. Don't listen to that first voice that's always telling you do this, do that, do this, do that. Think about what that second voice might say. You know how they always put like we got the angel and the devil on our shoulder, but just use that second voice. And something you might not even have thought, like, what do you mean by second voice? We all have one and we can all build one. I like to think of it like I'm a good person, but I also could be a bad person. It's just that I build my good person up more. I build that good voice up more. I listen to that good voice more. So in times where I might have been able to react to a situation with the devil on my shoulder, I listen to the angel. I asked the angel, what do you have to say? How do you feel about this? And this is just a metaphor. I'm not speaking literally like I'm crazy or something. I'm just saying that a lot of the times when we're starting to get angry or when we're getting triggered, we think one way. Somebody triggers something, we say, what the, you know what I'm saying? We go full throttle in the direction of anger. We don't even question ourselves or stop ourselves in our tracks. And that's all that second voice is about. It's about being able to consciously control yourself and talk yourself through it. Slow yourself down. Give yourself a chance not to be angry. And lastly, my last advice I would have on how to never be angry. Work on not getting angry when you're alone. What I mean by this is probably the most important one, because it might be things in your life or circumstances in your life where you don't like how you reacted, you don't like how you responded, you don't like how things went down, and that guilt or that feeling might be held over you, but you never want to carry that day to day. And one of the ways you get rid of that is you deal with that when you're alone. You face that feeling. You thoroughly go through what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. That way, when you're alone, no one's judging you. You know what I mean? You're not, even though you're judging yourself, you can get rid of that feeling of, oh, I feel so bad because what if other people might think about me or not. No, you're by yourself. You're facing yourself. You can be as real as yourself as you possibly can be. Unless you just already lying to yourself, but that's something else. But at the end of the day, when you're alone, that's when you can be the most blunt and transparent with yourself. That's what you need to be doing. Now, if you're not, then that's tough. You know what I'm saying? But as people, I think one of our biggest issues is that we don't try to face these things. Like we just, it's the thought is there, but we don't actually go through it. And already, if you're watching this video and you made it this far, I already know you special, because you're trying to fix yourself. You notice that there's a problem and you're trying to make it better. So I definitely respect you for that. You're a solid person. And at the same time, I'm definitely giving you motivation to keep going. The goal is that you become such a better person than you were that you don't even recognize your old self. That people that you knew years ago don't even know who you are now because you're so different. That should be your goal in life. That every year or so, you're always growing into such a different, new, better person that people that knew you from a year ago don't even recognize you because you move so differently. And that basically wraps up today's video. And yeah, don't get mad, get glad. More golden advice tips coming soon. Stay tuned, man. Checking out.